In the Bible, it refers to out of the mouths of babes comes wisdom. But in this day, sometimes out of the mouths of roast comics might come wisdom. And I'm referring to in a Madison Square Garden speech and event, a roast comic made jokes about piles of trash that have accumulated in Puerto Rico because of several hurricanes and financial problems. Well, that's a great thing for the two sides to fight over, but come January, one side or the other will have to deal with it because Puerto Rico is part of the United States. What might we do? Well, there are some things that have been done. Trash has been incinerated in the past. It had its problems that took some extra energy to get rid of chemicals that might be produced. Those things had to be collected, and we wanted to cook it down to small amounts so that possibly valuable metals could be recycled. And hey, along the way, maybe even papers and certainly wood and things. So that's a lot of labor. And then the other issue was that the incinerators would do just fine, even provided energy for usually city incinerators. They'd burn a lot of wood and things. There was extra trash, paper. That was all great until somebody had a gallon of turpentine or other flammable liquid, oil that was being saved, and somehow it got thrown in with the trash. In that case, especially turpentine, great example, there's an expression in marketing: we're gonna blow the doors off at our sale. Well, incinerators don't want to blow the doors off, but it has happened. That was one of the second big issues with incineration. That's why most things now go to landfills. And that's all well and good for, say, way on the West Coast. Trash is compacted somewhat, goes onto a train, goes out into a desert, and canyons become small hillocks. And the locals may be too thrilled with it, but it's hot and dry, so it generally dries out on top and doesn't smell too badly. In New York, not so far from Madison Garden, where the political event was, there's the highest mountain east of the Appalachians. That mountain is the highest mountain, highest before the Appalachians. It's called Mount Trashmore in New Jersey. And people in New York City and New York in general should thank and apologize to the people of New Jersey, because there was a long-term contract and it was set up decades ago. But New Jersey is taking the trash. So that's not a good thing for Puerto Rico, because number one, they can't take a train 60 or 100 miles away because the splashing off into the water somewhere, neighboring islands would not be thrilled with that because people have gotten more environmentally conscious. So it's hard to send it away in large quantities, and so I've got to come up with things. So I've come up with two things that could solve a lot of the issues, at least make it easier. Artificial intelligence, or AI, and small modular reactors. And artificial intelligence is good because a lot of the materials are recyclable. They can be separated out. Paper, wood, aluminum, objects that can be recycled, even iron or copper, even better. So a lot of things can be separated out. Of course, most important, flammable liquids. Somebody tossed in a gallon of turpentine or even oil from changing the oil at home. People do these things. Those batteries that people worry about, they often get thrown. So AI can separate out hundreds of items per minute going down a line, perhaps 5 or 10 lines, so thousands of items per minute can go through, be separated. What's burnable goes to the incinerator, dangerous things move to the side, recyclables go in their different directions. And the computers are still working their way to it, but that is one of the revolutions, taking more electricity, by the way. So the incinerator can provide energy. Now along the way, it takes more energy to process, melt recyclables and things. So it would be good to have a good clean power source, because we're worried about global warming from burning coal and oil. So small modular reactors, the new rekindling of atomic energy. That can provide the heat for any extra heat needed for processing, provide a steady amount of electricity, so it'd be extra energy for processing the whole thing. And this is could be a test case, because there's other islands in the Caribbean. Way in the Pacific, the Hawaiian Islands have the same issue. They're scenic tourist places, and they don't want to have big piles of stinking trash. A system like this would be small. It can be installed in different places. Hopefully, once it's working, mass production. You have a number of these items. They can be built into hillsides, so they're safe from any hurricanes, or tsunamis, anything that might come along. Being small enough, it would go back to a factory. That's the big advantage of small modular reactors. The factory builds them like building bulldozers or Winnebagos for touristing things, or buses. Well, this would be essentially a large bus, a power plant that would supply 50 or 100 megawatts to do what would be needed for processing the trash, and extra for doing other things. So, bingo. This is a good thing, because at some point, it's no fun arguing anymore, because one guy or the other is going to win. Let's go with small modular reactors and artificial intelligence to process the trash. If you want to hear more about some of these ideas, I'm Roger Carlson at Saving the World Before Breakfast. I've got a website with the same name, savingtheworldbeforebreakfast.com. Good evening.